What's up, a Cinema Shogun here, and I swear, every time I start gaining a little bit of sympathy for Britney, and I start feeling like maybe I should back off a little, she does something that just makes me lose any ounce of sympathy that I had for her, and she's starting to make me lose the respect that I once had for her as well. You know, I started covering Britney because I cared about her mental health, and I felt like not many other people did. And I was, really upset by the fact that she had just been spiraling out of control while her fan base enabled her. But over the months of me looking into this situation, I'm starting to almost dislike Britney, from certain aspects, definitely, because she's always coming across as like a mean, bitter woman. And I get it. She's been through a lot. But one thing that she did that just I cannot forgive is when she bashed her own kids on Instagram. That right there, listen, all of the weird activity and all of the nonsense, we could talk about that all day. But once you bash your own kids in front of millions of people, there is no coming back from that. And now Britney has doubled down and she is attacking her kids again. In fact, this latest attack that happened last night is even worse than the previous one. This woman re-downloaded Instagram. She came back to Instagram. And we know when she comes back to Instagram, that's going to get her fans buzzing, and everyone's going to want to know what's her latest post. What's the post that she's going to post that made her come back to Instagram? And what was it? It was her trashing all over her kids again. Let's go ahead and hop into this. I have some thoughts, and I'm going to share some other people's thoughts as well. But man, this is disgusting. Let's go ahead and take a look. I've tried my best at being the best person I can be, to be basically held hostage in homes under nurses and bullshit. I hope my kids one day understands my reasoning of my play in water, revealing myself as any woman would, being held under blankets and supervision under the conservatorship. No, I'm sorry, your kids probably will never understand why you think being naked on Instagram is more important than your relationship with them. But let's go forward. Finally, at 40, without the restraints of what my family did to me, I say to my son Jaden that I send all the love in the world to you every day for the rest of my life. My love for my children has no boundaries. Yes, it does. Britney, your love for your children definitely has boundaries. There are levels where you won't go. There are places that you won't go for your kids. Your kids have not asked you of much. They just want you to dial it back on Instagram. So you're saying there's no boundaries. There's nothing I wouldn't do for my kids. You won't stop posting nudes for your kids. You know what I mean? Your love has no boundaries except for when someone tells you, hey, your 15-year-old doesn't want to see your tits on Instagram. My love for my children has no boundaries, and it deeply saddens me to know his outcry of saying I wasn't up to his expectations as a mother. And maybe one day we can meet face to face and talk about this openly. Isn't this really weird? Britney has these people's phone numbers. Britney could call or text, email, Skype, anything, FaceTime. She could Instagram DM her kids. But no, she wants to put this on blast for everyone to see because Britney craves the attention and she craves the sympathy that she gets when she plays this victim. Listen, Britney, you could play the victim all day and I feel bad for you. But when you try to use the victim card on your own kids, that's when I'm going to tell you to get the hell out of here with that nonsense. I'm sorry. I don't care how bad your life has been. I don't care what you went through under the conservatorship. That does not give you the right to put trauma onto your own kids. Yeah, the conservatorship was bad. Yeah, this was bad. But guess what? It happened. It's life. You're going to dwell on it to the point that no one even wants to deal with you at all. Even Britney's own fans are tired of hearing about this nonsense. Maybe, dear child, you can explain to me why our family would do that to anyone. I helped your father, who hasn't had a job in 15 years. I assume it is easier for you guys not to have someone check on you to make sure you're doing your homework. Britney, you haven't been there checking on anyone, making sure that anyone does their homework. Let's be honest, Britney. You haven't. That little clip of Britney's kids and Britney that got released by Kevin Federline, Britney's kids ran and locked themselves in the room because they were tired of Britney walking around with her breast out. Make no mistake about it. Everyone was trying to decipher what the drama was, and they were all calling her kids brats. But if you actually listen to the conversation and piece it together, Britney was coming in their room angry that they told someone that she was walking around with her breast exposed, and then she goes on a tirade about how she wants to put lotion on their faces. Really weird. Really weird. So she's going on to attack Kevin Federline about not having a job in 15 years and blah, yada, yada. I don't think that's actually true. I know we hear this a lot, but I think Kevin Federline has done little odd jobs here and there. But even if he hasn't, whatever, it is what it is. But as far as what I've seen from the Kevin Federline interview, it doesn't seem like Kevin Federline is coming out attacking Britney. Like, yeah, he's talking about his life with his kids and how his kids maybe don't want to see Britney, but he's not out here like lashing out at her in the way that she's lashing out at him. I'm sure the standards of your dad smoking weed every day benefits your daily life at 15 and 16 to partake in a very cool generation. Eye roll. Britney really looks down on the fact that Kevin Federline smokes weed. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't have a problem with people who smoke. Honestly, I would rather Britney smoke a joint as opposed to her doing whatever the hell she does. Maybe if she smoked a joint, she would calm the fuck down and stop spinning in circles and running around swaying all over the place. Maybe she needs some weed. But I get what she's saying, that, it's cool to be around your dad because, he smokes weed and he chills and he hangs out and he's that cool parent. Whereas Britney is trying to make herself seem like she's the strict parent. But, you can't really view yourself as the strict parent when you have literally been non-existent in these kids' lives. So I don't know why she views herself as if she's the one that's here to, discipline these kids when she hasn't really been here at all. And I know that partially due to her conservatorship that damaged a lot of the relationship that she would have had with her kids. And maybe, it made it to where she couldn't be around her kids as much. But I think we all need to really stop and think about that. Because the narrative is that the conservatorship stopped her from having a relationship with her kids. But when I look into it, I don't really see many indications or indicators that is actually the case. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure the family may have been saying bad things about Britney here and there. Yes, but if Britney was allowed to craft a relationship with Sam Asghari throughout these years, she was able to create a whole relationship for herself with a person that she didn't know. Then why wouldn't she have time to be with her kids? Let's not ignore that fact. Everyone wants to act like, oh, Britney couldn't be around her kids. That's why things are like this. Well, then why was Britney allowed around Sam? So you want me to believe that the conservatorship blocked her from being around her kids, but allowed her to form a relationship with Sam? That doesn't make sense. I feel like if Britney put half the energy into being around her kids that she did being around Sam, that maybe this would be a totally different story right now. You can't tell me that Britney was blocked from having a relationship with her kids and at the same time was allowed to, form this relationship with this backup dancing chef or whatever the hell he is. I don't even know anymore. Like, that's all stupid if you ask me. But yeah, that doesn't make sense. And I think it's time that we start pointing that out. But yeah, she's like rolling her eyes and being catty at her kids. Make no mistake about it. Everything that is said in this post, it's all aimed directly at her kids. Not a good look. You're talking about being the mature, disciplinary parent. Yet here you are going off on Instagram tirades like a teenage girl, mad because your sons called you out on your shit. I completely understand your need to live with your father, as I had to play the perfect role for 15 years for absolutely nothing. I'm so happy I was able to carry 4 tours, Judge X Factor, and way more. I did that for you. Yes, let's talk about your accomplishments and try to rub them in the face of your 15-year-old kids. Awkward, 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 awkward. And Preston, I'm aware of your gift. I know you're a teacher in my life, and dear child, I'm a teacher for you as well. It's horrible to see your dad be a hypocrite and say the media is horrible, yet he has you talking about personal matters to them. Woo! Talk about a hypocrite, Britney. Britney is accusing Kevin Federline of being a hypocrite while being a hypocrite her damn self. You're mad that your sons are telling people how they feel when you've been on Instagram in front of millions of people telling the most is just trashing everyone? You know the difference between Britney's sons going on this interview and Britney is this interview won't get as many views as Britney's Instagram page. That's what's crazy. When Britney's kids sit down and do this interview for 60 Minutes Australia, not as many people will watch that interview as the amount of people that go across Britney's Instagram every day. 40-something million people follow Britney. Millions of people see these posts every day. Only a few 100,000 people, if that, will tune in to that interview. People don't even watch TV anymore. Most of the people who see any snippets of that interview will be on YouTube because people will be covering that interview. So make no mistake about it. Even though Britney's kids are going to like the mainstream media to talk about the situation, their voice will be heard, by less people than Britney on her own social media platform. But I find it extremely hypocritical that she's sitting here. How dare you let kids talk about personal matters, yet you're on Instagram dragging your own kids. This is personal as well. But Britney takes no accountability at all. And that's one thing I hate. I hate people that can't admit their own faults and their own wrongdoings. I'm not saying that Britney is a bad person. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Britney didn't help get herself in this situation. She takes no accountability at all. Everything is everyone else's fault. She does nothing wrong in her eyes. She's a complete narcissist. She's obsessed with herself. And I believe that's why she does those model shows all day, swaying side to side, because she's more concerned about that than her kids. And her kids know that. And that's why her kids don't want anything to do with her. If you could pause for a second. Oh, sorry, I missed my place. If you could pause for a second, remember where you came from. They came from Kevin Federline's nutsack. And they also came from you, Britney. But let's not just sit here and act like, it doesn't take two to tango. I hope you can look in the mirror and remember you are my child and always will be. Since Preston didn't speak, I send my love. I would love nothing more than to see you two face to face. Then why aren't you making an attempt to do so? They live down the street. Britney's new house is in the same neighborhood as Kevin Federline. Yet here she is on Instagram talking all this nonsense for attention when she could drive a few blocks and go see her kids. Literally. Literally. Anything that has been being said in this post could have been sent to them privately. Do you think the mother can't contact them? We could contact Britney's kids when we want. People are literally harassing them as we speak. They're not hard to find. Keep playing your gift on the piano. You and your brother, sorry. You and your brother both are brilliant, and I'm so proud to call you both mine. As for my mental health, yeah, can we talk about that? My dear child, understand, you must learn to pick up a book and read one before you resort to even thinking about my intellect, sweetheart. Whoa! You see how catty she's getting with her own kid? My dear child, I want you all to understand that when she's saying my dear child, she's not saying that, oh, my dear child. She's saying it like, my dear child. She's saying it sarcastically. Like, the words that are coming out of her mouth are absolutely vile, disgusting, despicable. Here she is, pick up a book and read a book. She's basically saying that her kid is freaking stupid. And you need to read or do something before you come at me, sweetheart. You know, like I can guarantee you this had the snap and the neck roll all over it. What in the hell is wrong with this woman? As for my mental health, my dear child, understand you must pick up a book and learn to read one before you resort to thinking about my intellect, sweetheart. Well, Britney, guess what? I pick up a lot of books. I love to read. Here's what I'm reading right now. J.R.R. Tolkien. As I skim through this book, it's not hard for me to come to the realization that you are acting like a complete piece of crap right now. I'll question your intellect, Britney, all freaking day because you come across as a dingbat. You know, I'm never going to sit here and lie to my subscribers. Britney has never come across as an intelligent person at all. Yes, she's talented, but Britney has always been, you know, let me be nice. Britney has never been known for being the sharpest tool in the shed. In fact, I feel like she's kind of ditzy. But hey, she thinks her 15-year-old kid needs to read a book before challenging her intellect. Woo! Why would you go off on your own kids like this? I have a friend whose mother reminds me a lot of Britney. Like, she'll be the sweetest sweetheart sometimes. And then just in a moment's notice, she will snap and will just say the meanest, ugliest things about people. And that's Britney. She's acting like one of those mean, psychotic mothers that tear down their own kids. Listen, for all of you out there, you think that it's Kevin Federline's fault that these kids don't want to be around Britney. No. I'm not here to defend Kevin, but these kids don't want to be around Britney because of how Britney acts. How could you not read this post and realize that, hey, you know, I wouldn't want my mother talking like this about me in front of her entire fan base. That's really weird and downright wrong, downright evil. It's evil because Britney knows about her fan base. Britney knows that her fan base are going to go lash out and attack her kids now. And she doesn't give a damn. That's why she put out this post. Because she wants to rile up her fans so they all start going crazy and attacking people as this interview comes out on Sunday. Now listen, Britney, I was going to give you the benefit of the doubt throughout the situation. I have been nicer than I had to be with my coverage. But now I'm going all out. If you want to go all out on your kids and attack them like this, then it leaves me no choice but to counterbalance it with total honesty once this interview gets released. This is disgusting. Tell your father to go try and at least mow the lawn. PSSSS. If you can honestly sit back and say, with your sensible, brilliant mind, that Meemaw and Pawpaw did what Meemaw and Pawpaw did to me was fine, and call them not bad people, then yes, I have failed as a mother. And hopefully that's a chat for you and your father to sit face to face and try to learn. What's good? What's good? Wow. Britney is beefing with her own kids. This is a beef post. Make no mistake about it. This is, I am beefing with you all now. Do you all ever remember when Nicki Minaj came on stage at this award show and she was like, Miley, what's good? You know, she was beefing with Miley because Miley Cyrus had said something about her. When you end it with what's good, that, I know a lot of you all don't understand that terminology, but that's almost like a poking your chest out, like, what's up? Like, are you going to hit me now type of thing? Like, it's almost like fighting words. What's good? You know what I mean? That's what that is. So that's her. She's feeling herself. I don't know if she's on MDMA or what she may be on, but she's really feeling herself in this post. What's good, kids? Fuck you, basically. That's basically what this is. But, you know, we hear my thoughts on this situation a lot. I wanted to share with you all some of what people have been saying in her comment section, because this post, it's still up now. By the time you watch this video, it may be deleted. But it has over 20,000 comments. And even big Britney fans are like finally getting fed up and they're starting to say something. Because I think a lot of people were holding out hope for Britney. You know, the Hold Me Closer song comes out. Everyone was thinking that this was going to be the change and we're going to start seeing a different Britney. But no, she immediately went right back to swaying side to side, posting nudes and lashing out at her family. And her fans seem to finally be not like, we've watched the fans start coming around to realizing something's wrong, but now the fans are calling her out. Let's read some of these comments. This is the tackiest thing I have ever seen any parent do to try and humiliate their own child. 10 years from now, you will look back and regret this. For your kids will be men, and sadly, will want nothing to do with the old woman that you have become. And when they have kids, you won't ever get the joy of loving your grandkids. Why? Because your sons will continue to choose happiness over whatever narcissistic views you throw upon them. Your traumas are not your kids' traumas. You must learn to separate that shit and be the mother you promised them you'd be when they were in your belly. It's time to grow up and act like a mother, not like a scorned 17-year-old. I agree. Britney's kids act way more mature than Britney. I have had the pleasure, I don't want to say the pleasure, but I got the opportunity to see a little more of this interview than has been released so far. And her kid was being extremely nice, and he was wording things well, and he seems like he has a good head on his shoulders. And nothing about what he said made it seem to me like he was being hateful towards his mother. If anything, it was coming from a place of care and concern. Let's read another comment. This is terrible. I don't care how many so-called fans come after me. Who communicates with their teenage kids this way on social media? 42 million people looking at her childish response to an interview her son has given because he can't get through to her. It is horrible. Exactly. Make no mistake about it. Everyone wants to act like this interview, it's for money, it's for this, it's for that. No. Her kids felt like they couldn't even communicate with her anymore. So they felt like this was the only route they could take. Taking no responsibility for the very things that embarrass her boys at all. Britney said herself that the boys didn't want to be on social media with her. Her son hoped they could talk one day. This is the worst possible way to go about it. Anyone that respects this is enabling a woman who has completely lost touch with reality. No matter how much truth is in her comments, the last place she should be doing this is in public. She should be celebrating her recent professional success and working on rebuilding her relationship with her sons, not driving them away. You did fail. The minute you went to Instagram with this, if you want validation, you should get it from your sons, not strangers. This is thirsty. Is this even Britney? If it is, it's a really classless move. I will answer that question. I believe this is Britney. Over the past few weeks, I've been telling you all over and over again, I am moving farther and farther away from the possibility that this is someone trying to make Britney look bad. No, Britney is making herself look bad. I do still believe that there are people that don't have Britney's best interest in mind that are manipulating the situation. I do believe that there are people out there who are taking advantage of Britney's mental health. I do believe there will always be some form of control over Britney's life, but I do not believe at all that there is someone that's formulating these posts to make Britney look bad and to create issues with Britney's kids. No, this is Britney. Unfortunately, and I know that's saddening for a lot of people, this is Britney. This is what Britney has become. And her fan base is part of the reason why she's become this way. Because when you don't put people in check, when you don't let them know, like, hey, this doesn't look good, this doesn't sound good, and you just congratulate them for everything they do, then they don't see themselves as doing anything wrong. So Britney, she's empowered by her fan base to continue to spiral off the deep end, and now, basically bashing her own kids. And yeah, she did fail as a mother the moment she went to Instagram and started doing all this nonsense. This person makes a lot of sense. Let's take a look at some other comments. Anyone finds it weird how Sam's been publicly supporting her against her own sons since last month? Him constantly shading Kevin, but he didn't show that same energy and same level of support when Britney's posting about her father, mother, or sister or brother. It's almost like he doesn't want her to repair her relationships with her kids. I wonder why. Spot on. Thank you. Thank you for saying this. This took the words right out of my mouth. As I was going over this video, or you all have been watching since the beginning, I don't edit my videos. This is all one take. This is all just me shitting down. Obviously, it's one take. This is all me just sitting down and sharing my thoughts. And that was actually something that I did want to talk about, but I trailed off on so many other things. I agree with this 100%. Sam is really quiet when Britney's calling out her dad, her mom, and her sister. But when she's calling out her kids and she's calling out Kevin Federline, Sam is always there with something to say. Why is that? I do believe that Sam is scared about Britney forming this, a new connection with her kids. I don't think Sam wants Britney close to her kids because her kids would be the only thing, I think, that could possibly pull her out of whatever freaking wormhole she is in right now. Her kids are her only hope. And it's now looking like that hope is lost as well, because it appears to me that Britney doesn't really give too much of a damn about her kids or their feelings. So I think Sam views Britney's kids as the biggest threat to his marriage and his scam that he has running with Britney, if you ask me. Sam views those kids as a threat, and that's why whenever she calls out her kids, or she calls out Kevin Federline, Sam's right there boosting her up. Yeah, Britney, yeah, he's a piece of crap. Yeah, he doesn't work. Meanwhile, he doesn't say that about Britney's dad, mom, sister, Lou Taylor, none of those people. He doesn't have that same energy because he doesn't view them as villains. He views them as help. He views the kids as villains. That's very telling. Very, very telling about Sam. Next comment. Aren't you tired as F of playing the victim all the damn time? You know exactly what you're doing. Playing passive aggressive with your own kids, then turning loose your rabid delusional fans on them. It's so clear why the Free Britney movement had it wrong. Whoa, very strong words. Listen, I agree. How can it not be tiring to play the victim card so much? I mean, I understand you had a horrible experience, but when you're playing the victim card with your own kids, that's when you have to realize, like, hey, I've taken it too far. I am sorry, people, but I'm not going to sit here and fret over issues that Britney went through in her life for the rest of my life. I'm not going to sit here and lose sleep because Britney had a hard time. We all have hard times. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Britney's life under the conservatorship is still better than a lot of people's lives, most people's lives, honestly. And I honestly do get the sense that a lot of what she has been saying about the conservatorship is over-exaggerated. Why do I feel that way? Well, because morally, I don't think she has a compass. And if she'll trash her own kids, then she'll trash anyone. And it's clear that she never took any accountability. All I want from Britney is just to take some slight form of accountability that would let me know that you don't view the world as one-sided. Britney definitely views it as everyone's out to get her. Her life is so tough. It's more horrible than anything anyone's ever went through. Woe is me. Feel bad for me. F my kids. F everyone else. Feel bad for me. Go ahead and attack my kids. That's what I want. Like, no, I am so tired of it. I feel like she should be too. But we're never going to get away from this. 10 years from now, Britney will still be using the conservatorship as an excuse for why she's 50 years old, swaying her wrinkled tits all over Instagram. As far as the Free Britney movement having it wrong, though, I do believe Britney should be free. But, I mean, she's not doing anything with her freedom. That's for sure. Let's go forward to the next comment. This is so toxic. Any kid that chooses another parent over their own mom has a good reason for it. You can't manipulate away a true mother-kid bond. Children don't think that way, and they choose who they feel safe and secure with. Get help. Exactly. I've been trying to make that point for a long time. For one, for a father to get full custody over kids, that is so almost next level impossible. Fathers very rarely get custody of the kids. And when they do, you have to prove without a shadow of a doubt that the mother is unfit. I see Britney battling everyone in court. Has Britney ever battled over her kids in court? I just, for the life of me, I don't understand how people can ignore this. Britney made it seem like she did the conservatorship for her kids. Everything was about her kids. Yet when she got free, you never heard anything about her kids at all. You never saw her kids. You never heard any mention of her kids, nothing. We had to hear about her kids from her own kids' mouth. They are not at the top of her priority list, and she's made that clear. And the fact that the kids choose to be with Kevin Federline over Britney says a whole lot. Yeah, they feel safer over there. And yeah, they don't feel comfortable with Britney for many reasons, I would assume. If Britney does all of this weird nonsense on Instagram, imagine what a day in the life of being around Britney is like. Especially for a kid. That is just downright scary. But let's go forward. I'm going to read just a few more comments and then we'll wrap up this video. Had anyone read her son's comments in the articles online? He speaks very well. And what he is saying is very well thought out for a teenager. If this is her response and reaction to it, all it does is substantiate the exact reasons why they don't want to see her at this time. Exactly. I was actually saying this earlier in my video. I don't know if you all have read what her son had to say. I know Britney fans are, mad, angry, let's cancel it, let's go crazy, leave Britney alone. We know how they're going to act. They aren't even going to read anything. They don't even know what's going on here. I read the article. The kid did not say anything wrong. He was not mean. He was not mean-spirited. He wasn't hateful. He was respectful. He was nice. I felt like his thoughts were well put together for a kid. And that's why this response from Britney, it really irks my nerves, because if you read what your son had to say, you would realize that he's coming from a place of care and compassion. He's not sitting here like, F my mom. He didn't even share like intimate details. He just basically talked about, how his life is going, and he doesn't really want to talk to his mom or be around his mom because he feels like she is using social media to like validate herself, or she's seeking some form of validation on social media, and that he doesn't really want a part of it, and that he's made it clear that he hopes they could talk face to face and that they could, reconnect. But Britney doesn't seem like she cares about that. She only wants to trash him on Instagram. Apparently, her love for her sons does have boundaries. I called this out. All right, what do you have to say? Because they've told her repeatedly why they stopped coming around, but she continues to humiliate them. And yeah, I made this point already earlier on in this video, but I'm glad other people view this the same way as I do. Let's go to the next comment. This sounds exactly like the rants my schizophrenic mother would go on when she would blame me for my feelings as a kid and demand love. You all are wild for enabling her. And that also sounds like a point that I was trying to make. My friend's mother, she was exactly like this. And man, yeah, it does come across as one of those schizophrenic rants where you just bash the people that you love the most. And then you kind of wonder, hey, how come you're not loving me and caring about me? Probably because you just trashed me in front of 48 million people. To those supporting Britney, you are doing her more harm than good. Her kids are suffering from her behaviors. Please encourage her to get mental health treatment. Please do. The kids do not deserve that passive-aggressive message towards them. They are kids. They have clearly been influenced. Adults should handle adult things. You got this, Brit. That's the one comment that I don't agree with here. I don't feel like the kids have been influenced. For people to really sit down and think that, do you really think that Kevin Federline has to implant anything in these kids' minds for them not to want to talk to their mother? Britney has done more than enough to make any child not want to talk to her. Think about it. If your mother was doing what Britney is doing, you wouldn't want any part of it. No one could sit here and act like they would, although people will pretend like everything she does is normal. It's not. It's downright disgusting. It's disgusting that she does this stuff knowing that her kids are humiliated by it. And then she takes it one step further, like getting naked, swaying side to side, acting like a lunatic is not enough. Then she has to call her sons out for feeling some type of way. Sorry, your kids don't want to see your butthole on Instagram. That's perfectly normal. And then for you to go on and bash them and act like they're stupid. Pick up a book and learn how to read before you worry about my intellect, sweetheart. That's your kid. This isn't some high school bully. This isn't some mean girl that's out to get you, Britney. That is your son that you're talking to. I'm sorry. There is no coming back from this. Britney is continuing to make herself look worse and worse and worse in my eyes. There is no accountability. She will not admit that she ever does anything wrong. She thinks she's perfect, which is why she looks at herself in the mirror 24/7, strips butt naked, and sways side to side while her kids are crying themselves to sleep at night because they don't have a mother that has, that has her mental health together enough to realize that she is completely traumatizing them. Britney is traumatizing her own kids. So while she's sitting here, Lynn was a bad mom, and you're a bad dad, and this is bad, and you're a bad family. Britney, you are being a bad parent as well. I think it's time for you to stop worrying about all of the mean, bad things your parents did to you, and maybe look in a mirror and realize you are becoming a monster as well. Britney is becoming a monster. Britney is starting to terrorize her own kids. And we could sit here and try to shy away from that fact, and we could try to deny it, but that's the God honest truth. Britney is traumatizing her kids. She is attacking her kids, and this is not a good look. And I wish more people would speak out about it. And hopefully, for Britney's sake, she gets her stuff together. Because this is horrible. One of the most horrible things I have ever seen a parent do, or at least a parent that claims to care about their kids do. But I want to know your thoughts. Honestly, listen, I could rant about this for like 5 freaking hours. So I tried to keep this video as short as possible, although I'm sure it's very long. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button. I actually did just release a members only Britney video. Become a member today so you can hear my thoughts about Britney's transition to Twitter, because boy, it's been crazy. But yeah, drop your thoughts, drop your comments, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.